Hello students, welcome to day 4 of the age of industrialization. In the previous video lesson, we discussed about the pace of industrial change. Now we'll go ahead with the next unit, which is hand labor and steam power. In this video lesson, we'll discuss about the abundance of labor in Victorian Britain, seasonal demand of labor, and handmade products as symbol of refinement and class. After the end of this video lesson, the specific objectives and expectations from you are, you would be able to point out the reasons that made hand labor the preferred form even after the advent of steam power. You would be able to explain the seasonal demand of labor, and you would be able to discuss how handmade products were a symbol of refinement and class. Let's talk about the industrial situation of Victorian Britain. In Victorian Britain, there was abundance of labor. It means cheap labor was available. There was no shortage of human labor. Easily, people could be hired at low cost. And another situation that has happened, migration. As we discussed about the setting up of factories in which all the production came under one roof, migration of people started from rural areas to urban areas. So poor peasants and vagrants moved to cities in large number in search of jobs, waiting for work. Low wages already, since there was plenty of labor, wages were low. Comfortable situation for the industrialists. Undoubtedly, for the industrialists, the situation was quite comfortable because there was no problem of labor, there was no problem of high wage cost. So at cheap price, industrialists were getting labor conveniently. Or the workers. Reluctance to invest in machines. Another thing that is very important, in the previous unit also we have studied the same thing. So there was reluctance among industrialists. Industrialists did not want to introduce machines that got rid of human labor and required large capital investment. They thought if the labor is such cheap and they are easily available, why to invest in machines? Why to invest large amount of capital? It's better to have the workers, more number of workers working, and production would be the same. So they did not want to buy new machines and implement new machines. Now, in Victorian Britain, there was seasonality of work. It means seasonal unemployment was there. In many industries, the demand for labor was seasonal. For a particular season, there was demand of labor, but once the season gets over, people were not in demand. For example, the gasworks and breweries were especially busy through the cold months. So all sort of heating devices and the gasworks were required more during winter. And also breweries, like all the drinks, beer, they were used mostly in cold months, the production. So they needed more workers to meet their peak demand. So during winter, many people were hired because demand had to be fulfilled. Also, winter is the season of Christmas. So bookbinders and printers catering to Christmas demand too needed extra hands before December. So many new jobs created which were seasonal, and people were in demand. So people were hired during those months, but after the months get over, they were jobless. At the waterfront, and even if we talk about waterfront sea route. So winter was the time that ships were repaired and spruced up. It means all the repair work of ships used to be done during winter, not during summer, because during summer ships were on voyage, they go for journey, but during winter they remain there at the port, and it was possible to repair those ships, and also they were spruced up. Spruced up means like any anything in the angle of the ship that is made proper. Okay, it means giving the proper shape to the ship. In all such industries where production fluctuated with the season, industrialists usually preferred hand labor, employing workers for the season. So, everywhere where there was plenty of labor and there was seasonal demand of work, so everyone preferred hand labor, not the machines. Now let's understand two important terms. You might be already aware of these terms because that has been discussed in Standard 9. Again, I'm discussing these two terms which will come again and again. So the first one is aristocrats. When we talk about aristocrats means people from high class families or the royal families, the family of the king. They are considered as aristocrats. The second category is bourgeoisie, and this category of bourgeoisie is known as rich middle class. They are rich middle class who are also very rich. However, they are not from royal family. That is the difference. But if we consider their life standards and their lifestyle, aristocrats and bourgeoisie are among the high class people. Now let's talk about the significance of hand labor. Hand labor was very important. One thing that we have noticed because of the cheap labor that was used. Other thing is there was importance of hand labor. Hand labor was significant. Why is it? Let's see. A range of products could be produced only with hand labor. That could not be produced by machines. So that is why hand labor is required. Intricate design, properly designed products were produced by hand labor. Machines were oriented to producing uniforms, standardized goods for a mass market. For a mass market, for large scale production, one type of product was produced by machines. So, all the cheap products for the colonies for export to different countries like India were produced by machines. But the demand in the market was often for goods with intricate designs and specific shapes. So special designs, unique designs and specific shapes are possible or were possible only through hand labor. And in Victorian Britain, all the high class people, if we talk about aristocrats and bourgeoisie, they wanted handmade products because machine made products were common. Anyone could purchase it, and as you know that if there would be somebody like aristocrat, high class people, very rich, would go for brand, and specifically if we talk about brand, they would go for designer clothes, right? So accordingly the aristocrats and bourgeoisie wanted special design, intricate design, designed for them only, and hence there was demand of hand labor. In mid 19th century Britain, for instance, 500 varieties of hammers were produced and 45 kinds of axes. So different varieties were possible with the help of hand labor. And these required human skill, not mechanical technology. So with the human skill, it could be produced, and there was huge demand of handmade products in aristocratic circles. In the aristocratic circles, there was demand of handmade products. Now let's see why handmade products considered as symbol of refinement and class. In Victorian Britain, the upper classes, the aristocrats and the bourgeoisie, they preferred things produced by hand, as we have already discussed in the previous slides. And the reason was very clear that handmade products considered or symbolize refinement and class. Means if somebody has handmade product, so that shows the class of the person, and that shows the person is refined, sophisticated. Let's look into some of the reasons behind it. Handmade products used to be expensive. So if somebody sees a handmade product, would automatically understand that it is expensive. It is not cheap. Handmade products were better finished, properly finished, because individual attention is paid in a handmade product. Another thing is they were intricately designed. Intricate design means proper design by proper care. They were individually produced. Each product were individually produced and the products were unique. Of course, if you would produce products by hand, so the products would have uniqueness. And also, they were carefully designed. All these reasons clearly specify why handmade products symbolize refinement and class. And there's a note, machine made goods, the goods which were produced by machine, they were just made to export to the colonies like India. The next thing is mechanical power in countries with labor shortage. So the countries where there was labor shortage, what happened there? They included mechanical power. So in countries with labor shortage, industrialists were keen on using mechanical power so that the need for human labor can be minimized. And this was the case in 19th century America. Britain, however, had no problem hiring human demands, but in other countries where there was problem, mechanical power was utilized. Now we have picture perception for you. You can see here two pictures. The first one is showing workers working in an ironworks, northeast England, and this painting was given by William Bell Scott in 1861. So many artists from the late 19th century began idealizing workers. So they glorified workers. They were shown suffering hardship and pain for the cause of the nation. So they were presented in such a way that they are working hard and they are working hard for their nation. They are doing the work of the nation. They are in the service for the nation. So in this way, industrialization through the workers was glorified. Another one, you can see here, people on the move in search of work. So that is showing unemployment. The Illustrated London News 1879, people got unemployed. Some people were always on the move, selling small goods and looking for temporary work. As we have already discussed that there was seasonality of work. So seasonal unemployment was there, and because of seasonal unemployment, when people did not have the season or did not have the work, then they either used to go back to their villages or they used to do odd jobs, some petty jobs, anything like washed a car, sold something in the street. So similarly, that situation has been shown in this particular picture. Now, based on the discussion we have in this video lesson, we have the assignment for you. Very simple questions are there. The first one, why handmade products were preferred over steam power? Second, the labor demand was seasonal in England. Justify the statement, how there was presence of seasonal unemployment. You would need to explain that. The points are already given. Why were handmade products the symbol of refinement and class? Okay, so all these three questions you need to complete in your notebook, whichever notebook you have. Thank you and have a great day.